Hello and welcome to another update video about AVAX Avalanche. So AVAX is here also heading further to the downside here in the last few days. The scenario still points to the downside for me. Primary expectation is still another low. The low could be in here. Yeah, the idea was all the time that we'll make one more low. We did make a new low here on this 22nd, 23rd of November. I think I did mention it in my last video. We confirmed that. Made a new low. Possible that the bear market ended here. Is it likely? Not very much for me. I talked about there could be some short-term upside potential, but it's not primary expectation. That short-term upside potential would be, well, here in this scenario, it would be a so-called leading diagonal in a wave 1. This could be a 2, but in the next step, we need to confirm that and break out of this descending wedge. Also, if we look at this wave 2, we are now in the support area between the 61.8% FIB level and the 78.6% FIB level. So if this is a wave 2 that would turn around and move up in a wave 3, it should turn around now. Yeah, it should turn around now above $12 basically. If it drops below $12, it will be very unlikely that this very short-term bullish potential is going to be realized, because then we're just dropping too far for a wave 2 and we're going to most likely break the wave 5 low. That is still my primary expectation, that we're going to break this sooner or later, because the move up is not impulsive. It's at best a leading diagonal. And also without breaking above this high, which is at $14.62, and breaking out of that descending wedge, I'm not convinced that the low is in yet. It could very well drop lower here perfectly to that key support that we identified in the last video around $9.30. That would be the support level of the wedge and a very significant long-term support level. So at the latest, I would assume that the bear market ends here for AVAX. If it drops even below that level, I'm going to make a very bold statement here. I'm going to think that it will drop below $1. Okay, so it either turns around now, but this is not high confidence. It would need to move up in 5 waves to convince me and move above this $14, what was it, $14.60 level, the wave 1 high, break out of the wedge, move up in 5 waves, come down in 3 waves, ABC. That would be the best confirmation we can get that the low is in. Primary expectation is still to go lower. At the moment, next key support is around $9.30. You can see that here, this support, yeah. And also we had support here, that is $9.30. If it drops below that level though, well, there is not much more support left. Then that is why I said bold statement, it will drop below $1, or in getting into at least into the $2 range down there. Yeah, and if it then is $1 or $2, it probably doesn't really matter too much anymore. But that could be, I mean, if we go down to 930, don't find support here, I mean, this could drop another 60-70%. And you know, I've never really been a fan of the AVAX chart, not in terms of the project, that's completely unrelated, but the actual chart. Yesterday I looked at eGold. It's got a very similar chart. You can count, however, this at the moment on the AVAX chart still as a 1-2-1-2 setup. In the worst case, I would have to count it as an ABC, and that is why, I mean, if we then come down here in 5 waves, and this move down is impulsive and not corrective, yeah, you might get actually below $1. So I've never really, I mean, I talked about, from the moment that AVAX dropped below $50, I talked about that I think it's not really investable. This might change as soon as we see an impulsive price action to the upside, like 5 waves or anything. At least then we have an indication that the low is in. But at the moment, due to the impulsive nature of the sell-off, I mean, you can always interpret these waves as bullish or as bearish. Yeah, these type of structures, you know, there are charts that look bearish, and this one is one of them because it clearly topped in 3 waves. You could say ABC, but if you do that, you basically assume that this coin will probably die or get into the region of $1 to $2. That can't be primary expectation, but it's of course a possibility. And if a coin or a chart has that chart structure, then I'd rather look for charts that look better. Yeah, as much as I might like the project or something. Okay, so yeah, we've got here a move up that could also be counted as corrective, and we've got a move down that could be counted as impulsive, and that is a bit concerning. So this is, again, it's a coin where I want to wait clearly for a bullish signal before doing anything, because this could, there is, even if there is only the slight chance, maybe even if it's only a 5% chance that this goes below $1, I wouldn't touch it, because it would basically destroy it would destroy my funds, right? If I invest in a coin like this. So let's say, hopefully it will recover, maybe even now. Probably doesn't. My expectation is it won't, but it's a possibility. So acknowledge the possibility from here. But to believe it, I want to see some evidence. Then here below 930, it will get really problematic for AVAX. So I'll give it this chance to recover, to give the bulls that chance to bring the sentiment back up into the positive. But if we drop below that, there is a slight reason for concern. Yeah. And that's my update about AVAX. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.